Hi guys, it's Matt Z from the Optimus Future Studios, and today we're going to talk about having multiple platforms and multiple data feeds. So when you decide to have multiple data feeds, multiple platforms, or other software that you're running on your computer, I want you to be aware of a few things. One, CME and other exchanges worldwide charge for data. So the more software you have, if you have to run data, individual data through each one of them, you have to pay for it, right? So let's assume you have three softwares and each one of them uses a different brokerage, and you have to pay each data feed to each company. So that takes some sort of a toll on your cost, on your fixed monthly cost. Even if you use historical data from some companies that are not tied up to brokerage, you still have to pay for it because, again, the exchanges charge for it. The second thing that you have to be aware of when you trade multiple screens and multiple softwares is the fact that you have to pay for the software itself. So not only their data cost may have an impact on your bottom line, but the software itself, it can range from $10 to $50, software at $300. But running all of those softwares may affect your bottom line as well. So between the CME, Eurex, if you're running Hong Kong, Osaka, it can add up. So you really have to think about those things. The third thing that I wanted you to think about is the resources that it affects on your computer. So the more software you run, the harder it is for your computers to run at the same time. Of course, you can have a very advanced computer, but nevertheless, when you run different data feeds, each one of them occupies part of the bandwidth on the internet, and that can affect your execution. It can affect the stability of the software. So when you trade, if something goes down and you think it's the software, it just might be your setup that affected it. There's so many small things when you trade in computers that are not detectable to people that are not technical, and essentially you can get affected by it if you're running too much software, too much data feeds. Think of it as a pipeline that you're trying to stream water through, and at some point, the water is kind of smooth and goes through, but if you start increasing it, the pipe, obviously it comes out bursting of water from the other side, and that's what you actually do when you run multiple softwares, multiple data feeds that have to feed all the software. So you have the cost and the resources on your computer, and all those things you have to keep in mind. Now, some traders probably feeling a little bit uncomfortable at this point getting rid of software that they use on their computer because they're beginners and they might think it's going to help them. But over time, what they see is basically that they can go from 4 to 2, or from 3 to 1, or they can eliminate from 4 to whole 3, right? And just stick with one software that really helps them make decisions. A lot of beginner traders think that they need multiple indicators, multiple software, and everything else in order to come up with a decision. But the reality is it doesn't do them any good. A lot of traders that I talk to, the bottom line, if I ask them, when I get to the bottom line and I ask them, does it help you trade? They say, I like it this way. And the term I like it this way doesn't refer to productivity or achieving results. So you have to be practical at the end of the day and say to yourself, and really conclude, or admit to yourself rather, which software really helps you? What does help you make a better decision? And do you need all this data out there? Now, you might be, how shall I say, maybe the wrong term to use is in love with software, because I know you're not in love with software, but you could have been on a number of sites, you could have been in a number of trading rooms, you could have been in a number of educational seminars where they promoted one software over another, and you might think that having all three of them will help you make a decision, but it would not, because you need to make a decision based on one methodology. And one methodology cannot run across many softwares. So really, running all those things, sometimes it's overwhelming. It might be, you might want to impress a friend that comes in and you show him the 8 screens that you have and the multiple softwares, and another beginner might say, wow, you're a real trader. But in your heart, you know that you don't use half of it, and it just sometimes stops you from making decisions because you stare at so many things. So in order to help you, just one thing I would say, just be honest with yourself, what helps you and what doesn't. Start reducing your costs, and at the same time also start reducing the number of softwares that you run. And that not only includes the trading software, but it includes all the other things that are running on your computer and might affect your execution, stability, and everything else. Of course, if you look at your computer, you can look at buttons, Control Alt Delete, which will pull out your task manager, which will show you how much stuff is being run in the background, how much it occupies out of your computer, and that will hopefully help you make better decisions as far as what to eliminate. I hope it was helpful. This is Matt Z from the Optimist Future Studio. Until next time, I'll see you and goodbye. And please click the like button. Go to our community site, community.optimistfutures.com, to ask any technical question you might have about futures, which it's all the links are listed here below. And of course, if you want to open an account, would love to earn your business, it's www.optimistfutures.com. Until next time, take care, all the best, and I wish you luck in trading. Bye-bye.